welcome back to EvilBunny Gaming. I know it's been a while. I have had various reasons, including dead PCs and all that sort of fun. So I finally have another working PC and back to recording. And as you can see, we are in RimWorld. So the plan was, while I've got a load of other stuff reinstalling and everything as well, we're gonna have some fun on some of the game series as I always wanted to do. So the plan here with RimWorld is pretty simple. We're gonna start a challenge, a section of challenge series on RimWorld. The first of which is gonna be an ice sheet challenge, an isolationist ice sheet challenge. And so specifics of it, basically I'll go through it when I go through the mod list with you. But effectively, this is the world that we're going to use. We're going to use the same seed for every single challenge that I do, so that at least all the factions are the same and everything. So there you go, you can see the seed if you wanted to use the same map I've got. And so mod-wise, we have quite a few mods, it looks like, that are installed, but actually very few of them do things. The obvious ones are Android tiers, so I will be playing as an Android. While You're Up's just a hauling mod. Rimhood is more aesthetics and information and data. So, color-coded move bars, again it's an aesthetics thing. Medical tab is information. I've put very few things in the game that actually alter it whatsoever. I have put an increased resource stack mod in, because sometimes the stack size annoys me. Prepare carefully. Well, research tree is more aesthetics. It just changes how the research tree looks. Prepare carefully. Obviously, we're going to need that because it allows us to sort out how we start each challenge. Realistic rooms just lowers the size of rooms because I think the default's 120 odd cells for a room size to be classed as spacious. Vegetable garden adds a few new vegetables, few more fruit items, and gives some specific icons to various things. Not really going to help us since we're not going to be growing anything on the ice sheet for the first challenge. Again, a couple more aesthetics things and information things. Pharmacist numbers are for information. Recipe icons are literally, as they say, icons. And the better vanilla masking one is just changing the masking on basic items to make them look a little better. So, speech bubbles again, aesthetics. Again, aesthetics, birds and the bees, just makes animals realistic. Again, menus, aesthetics, a bunch of hair stuff, which isn't going to actually affect our first challenge. Same with colony manager, not going to affect the first challenge because we're playing a isolationist robot on the ice sheet for the first challenge. And then share the load, obviously, is just one that lets all colonists deliver resources even if they can't build. Feed the colonists was a nice one. It's just a quick tweak to allow you to build 4 meals at once. Again, probably not going to have much of an impact on this first playthrough since most of the stuff we're doing isn't going to be meal based. So, but yeah, so we'll get the map up again. We'll get a position to start loaded in. So the question is, do we do North Pole or South Pole? There is, obviously, as you can see, a couple of new factions that the Android mod includes. There's those that love androids and are part of the Android collective, and then there are those that hate androids and want to dismantle them. Now, somewhere in the middle of this flat sheet of ice is roughly where we're going to be trying to escape the planet. I have to find something with actually somewhere to build. So it's going to need some resources available to it at the start. And that place looks good. What have we got? We've got granite, which is a good insulator from the cold. And this place gets down to over -60. Because with the wind chill as well, it's probably -70 is probably what the height of winter is going to be at this location. You know, even for an Android, that is ridiculously cold. I do believe even Androids can only cope with a relatively small negative temperature. So yeah, so I think we'll probably choose here. It's got sandstone, granite, marble as well, which gives us an easy access to aesthetics. It's not too far from nearby settlements, so we should still get some caravans. There's none of the anti-robot collective around. So this is the preset. And what we are going to be doing then is, obviously, as I say, we will be an Android. And there's not many things you can do without altering the entire chassis of the Android, but we're just going to go with a base mechanic build. As you can see, the mechanic build is just basic construction crafting. Little backstory: I worked in a Glitterworld Android factory building things. So, as I say, this is going to be an isolationist playthrough. So this Android is completely at one with himself. He hates humanity. In fact, he hates all living creatures. He wants everyone to be, at the very least, bionic. Obviously robot, so I put the psychopath trait in because, yeah, he's not going to really feel anything. He just hates humanity, doesn't want to be associated with a living creature, and is perfectly happy turning the entire planet into androids. So, as you can see, we're not taking anything. No relationships, because obviously he wouldn't have any. He hates, like, literally every other living thing. He basically left the factory and set out on his own to fix the planet. And this is it. So we dropped in. Okay, so we're just going to sort out the jobs list, get him set up to do things that collect resources ahead of things which utilize those resources. That way we should always, as a rough estimate, prioritize getting resources and then worrying about the skills and traits that use those resources. So we should always be grabbing stuff as a priority over using it, so at least until we get a decent stockpile set up. Finish sorting those out, and let's get a haul on that on a fairly lowish one as well. I'll close off, and I turned off everything that's not going to affect us on this playthrough. Right, I think we should be done at that. Now we just need to find somewhere to go. I'm not really sure as to where we're probably going to start. Could be a few places we could start at, actually. Looks like there's a pre-built building there. Although I don't really need a pre-built building, although I can use that cave. Cave system's probably useful to us. I might just demolish the walls of that building and use it to set up my cave entrance. We'll use a predefined structure. I mean, he's an android. He's not really going to be bothered about living in a cave. Hopefully this map shouldn't get warm enough for long enough to cause an infestation, but even if it does, obviously he hates all living things, insects or not, so everything's going to be getting it. Let's get him deconstructing some of these materials. Need them to be able to set up our base entrance and block off a couple of the side walls and the holes and everything. And just about finished demolishing that now, so we should be able to use those resources to get an entranceway set up to our cave. And then I'll use what's left of the marble just to block off some side routes. Because obviously in a natural cave system there's a few exposed areas which I'll just block off. Let's get a crafting spot set up. I want to try and get some weapons on this guy as early as possible. I did contemplate originally making a knife, and then I thought, nah, they wouldn't bother with knives. They're androids, so they've got the capability and probably the brute strength just to wield more impact-based melee weapons. This front door's taking a while to build. Oh, we should be in and finished shortly. It's worth noting as well, obviously I not mentioned it yet, but the great thing about Androids, one of the reasons I'm doing an Isolationist Ice Sheet Challenge, is that no living thing will be joining the colony. And twofold is the reasons for that. One is androids don't sleep. So he may well have to get the parts, etc., to build another version of himself and transfer his consciousness into as his body wears out. But androids don't sleep. So there's no need for beds, there's no break in available work time frame. The androids can work all the time. So because obviously the guy will be non-stop, no downtime, the trade-off is that I'm not going to allow any other... No, I'm not even going to allow any other androids to be joining the colony. The only person in the colony will be him. So I'm actually going to grab myself some food as well, because contrary to the obvious sort of gut feeling, androids do need to eat. So I'm assuming that's because of some internal bioconversion to fuel, power cells or something. Can't really tell you why, but they do need to eat. I suppose it would be ridiculously just too easy if food and sleep would be removed as a requirement. So, but yeah, so we are going to have just EvilBunny. He is the only character that we are ever going to have. As I say, as bits of him wear off, he might have to do operations or build another android or something like that. Yeah, so I'm gonna grab some more food anyhow. I'm gonna go kill this wolf. At least I hope I'm gonna kill this wolf. Oh dear, that did not end well. He ended up with quite serious damage, actually. And of all the things the wolf went for, he went for the android's reproductive organs. That's a little harsh. But either way, we've got some food, more food now anyhow. Let's get it carted, butchered, and sorted out. I actually thought the other wolf was coming to nick it then. Let's set that to do forever, because we're not going to have that many corpses. I might have to turn that back down to a fixed number if we end up with a pile of corpses. But for the time being, it's basically one in, one out, so... Made a tiny indoor stockpile, just to stop things deteriorating. It's actually quite warm at the moment. For an ice sheet map, this is really quite warm. So only thing I can think of is that we must have started in spring, and it's slowly warming up as it heads towards summer. So at the moment it's only sort of -2 to -8 range. Grab some more resources by ripping this flooring up. There's no need to have flooring there in the middle of the open. So, may as well have those resources. And actually, while I think about it, what we'll do is we'll use those resources. We'll set up an entryway. A trap corridor, because obviously if he's always going to be by himself, it literally means he's the only one that is going to be able to defend this base. He's the only one, which means we're going to be relying, at least initially, quite heavily on traps. Later on, it's going to have to be defenses, tactics, and firepower. We're going to have to outgun them. So we're always going to have to try and stay ahead of the curve. So, ooh, got a drop in of food there. That'll do nicely. But yeah, it's time to start setting up some way of restricting the enemies to single file. At least then if I get some armor on this guy from a trader maybe, or even if I have to build some. I think they're mushrooms. Oh, and we've just gone bumping into something I really could have done with avoiding. So we now know this building is an ancient danger building. So I really don't want to start reclaiming resources for that. That wall is going to have to stay unsalvaged. Because if I ever release that this early, I don't think there's any way I can survive. We have another drop in. More resources, that's nice. Oranges, so we'll get those back to base. At this point, biofuel is biofuel. I don't really think he cares. Yep, I'm not sure that EvilBunny 117 cares where his biofuel comes from at the moment. Just that he's got enough to keep his energy levels up. In the meantime, though, I was still trying to work on these defences. We need to try and get them set up, really. If nothing else, it just allows me to take some hits and then hide back inside until either I've recovered, he's broken, the enemies have broken in, or the raid is over, or something like that. Got ourselves a steel club now, so that's not too bad. Oh, and we're lucky enough, I've got a bunch of traders coming in, so that's not too bad. I'm not sure we'll be able to get anything from them. I mean, we effectively have very little to trade. And of course, Sod's Law. So, it's actually quite possibly, given that we're only ever going to be by ourselves, the one trader I need. They've got armor, they've got weapons, everything. Absolutely everything I could need. Obviously, it's all very expensive. But they won't even take any of my items that I have for trade. So they won't take the food, they won't take the, you know, the stone resources I've, you know, stolen or, you know, harvested from around the map or anything like that. I think these guys would probably only take raw cash or other weapons. But, so sadly we're going to have to let that caravan go without getting a trade. I wish they wouldn't do this. So the two muffaloes and the goddamn pack leaders just come wandering into the... I'm blocking the door. Come wandering into the base and stole like over 50 of our food resources. That's just chuff and harsh. So I dread to think how many more would have gone. Got a slate meteor drop in for us. Good job that didn't break the wall and land closer to the ancient danger. Can't believe the muffaloes ate our bloody oranges. The cheek of it, they could turn up, won't let us trade, and then eat our oranges. Just not on. I'm going to grab some more resources, because at the moment I don't really have the time to be continuously crafting. It's actually faster to deconstruct and haul than it is to try and craft stone blocks. Because at least with this it's deconstruct and haul bricks. If I want to craft the other stuff I have to haul a load of rock chunks and then craft stone blocks, and the crafting time's not great. He's a good crafter, but it's still, compared to just taking what's already available on the map, is longer. We've got some more resources. We're now obviously back at the base, finishing off the first set of defensive walls here for the trap corridor. So, this will give us a little bit of security. Okay, that's not quite as helpful as I thought. A flash storm happening at the other side of the map. Ooh, I did just see movement though. Yeah, it's a snow hare. That's food. It won't stick around on the map for long because its food is at 0. So effectively what this is a migrating snow hare that's ended up in our cell of the map. But since it has no food and obviously it cannot locate any food for itself on the map, that just means it's going to be food for us. Yoink. Take that back and butcher it. Okay, so we're gonna have a bit of a tidy up, bit of a rearrange. I've decided to use this big open space in the middle. So we should, if we put basically a bunch of crap either side, metal slag and stone chunks and everything either side of this middle area. I'm going to turn the middle area, especially since the steam guys are there as well, which we can put a geothermal on later. We can turn this big sort of, well, big-ish area to the immediate right of our cave. We can turn it into something useful. I'm not sure exactly how the layout's going to work yet, but I figured I may as well start getting the chunk resources just piled into there. Maybe I set up a stone crafting table or something, just initially, just to do something. So I get some traps set up now in the corridor. So I've set up 3 doors, which allow us just to go straight into the base really quickly. Whereas it should force the enemies basically to have to try and snake through the corridor. Well, they've got choices. They can either try and break down the doors, or they can, bearing in mind they can't see traps, they just go through the corridor unawares. So that should allow us to get an early defense. At least if nothing else, it'll do some damage to them, and if we can keep them locked out long enough, maybe it's enough damage for them to bleed out. So I don't know, but it's better than no defenses. So we can at least try and bait them into that trap. You know, we'll stand at like the front entrance, then duck back through a door, and then duck back through another door. Yeah, there's another snow hare there, which we'll take for food. Not really going to pass up the opportunity for food. Biomass is fuel, so we'll be taking as much of it as possible, especially when sort of inconspicuous snow hares randomly wander into the map. We're almost at an end though. We're going to call it on the first episode shortly. So we've made a decent start actually. We managed to get a defensive area set up. That's another caravan. And it's another combat supplier. This is just the Randy Random being cruel now. So not only has he sent in 2 beneficial trade caravans within the first episode, but both have been the one I wanted, the combat trader. Dear. Let me guess though, this guy won't take any trades either, I'm guessing. Let's find out. I'm betting not. I'm betting he's the same as the other one. In fact, it's probably the same caravan. Yeah, no trades. Okay, fair enough. Right, well, on that note, unfortunately, we're gonna call it. There's 2 traders, flash storm, but you know, there's been a couple of cargo drops, etc. There's a few things happen this episode. So, thank you for watching, and I shall see you next time.